So I actually used to be a lot stronger. In 2017, I was invited out to an obstacle course event to train and try to compete in this obstacle course. And while we were warming up, there's no pads below us or anything like that. There's this obstacle called the Triforce, which is really hard to explain, but let's just say it's like 14 feet in the air. And so I muscled up to the top of it. I didn't do the right technique for it. I didn't really know the right technique for it. And I wound up slipping off of it and falling onto basically this rubber that's on the gym floor here. And so I fell in the seated position, and the first thing to hit was my left hand. So I hit, and instantly, I'd never broken a bone like that before, but instantly I knew that my wrist was destroyed. And so basically it crumpled my wrist into itself. So my wrist was in a zigzag. And it was funny because one of the judges came over and he goes, "Dude, are you okay?" And I didn't even look down at my wrist. I just look over to him and I'm like, "I broke my wrist." And he goes, "Are you serious?" And I lift up my arm. My watch is like up here. It's like ready to burst. And yeah, my wrist is just zigzag. And so I was rushed to the hospital. And I didn't really know how bad it was until we started going through the procedures and whatnot. Because falling 14 feet and crushing everything in your wrist and your nerves and stuff like that, didn't realize the severity until later on. Because breaking your wrist, you can normally like recover from that and it's totally okay. But went to the hospital, the doctors were telling me, "Hey, there's a lot of nerve damage, but we're gonna do the reduction," which is just putting like the head of the bone back into place, putting a plate in there and bolting it into place. That's fine. Went through surgery. Woke up in a lot of pain, which they say is unusual. You're supposed to wake up and the anesthesia and stuff is supposed to be good and you're supposed to be taking pain meds. And that was the first weird sign. The second weird sign was as I'm sitting in the hospital bed, I was there for, I think, 2 days. They're constantly coming in and checking your vitals to make sure you're okay. And what they were seeing, I didn't know at the time, was they were seeing my heart rate continually, gradually go up. Every time they come in. Normally it's supposed to regulate and come back down, you know, after a procedure, that sort of stuff, your heart rate's supposed to come back down. But mine just kept slowly climbing up. And then they put me on a Dilaudid drip, which I guess was like the max dose they could give me. They gave me a little clicker thing, and I was in a lot of pain, even through that Dilaudid. And they were like, "This is really weird. Your heart rate doesn't really seem like it's going down, but we'll keep checking it and just rest for a little while." And at 2 o'clock in the morning, on the first night, I guess it's the second day, they come in and there's like 3 or 4 doctors in there. And they tell me, they were like, "You are about to have a heart attack because your heart rate is going up." And I'm like, "I think it's because of all the pain I'm in." And they're like, "Well, we can't administer you any more painkillers. We have to go in and do a second surgery." And this is where I realized like the extent of my injury, because the second surgery was the worst part, because the second surgery was pretty severe. They told me that they didn't want to do that surgery originally because if they do it, it reduces the mechanical advantage in your hand due to them having to cut the tendon in your palm. They said they were trying to prevent this from happening, but I'm going into a critical state and I need to have that second surgery. It's like, whatever, do what you gotta do. So go in for second surgery, wake up. This time I didn't have any pain and I felt fine. Woke up, I was like, dang, you know, I'm feeling all right. Sounds like it went well. And basically I was sent home after that, after they checked my vitals, everything was good. But what I didn't realize is my hand, my left hand, is now permanently weaker than my right hand. There's also a really weird like bubbly thing that happens in my wrist whenever I get pumped or do like a hard workout. But my grip strength in my left hand compared to my right is like minimum 50 pounds weaker. I've tested it on the dynameter before. And yeah, every time I do it, my left hand is just 50 pounds weaker. And a lot of the stuff I do involves grip strength. And so it's been a tough battle going through the motions of trying to strengthen and balance out my left to my right hand, because I'm all about balance. I want proportional leg strength, upper body strength, and just being well-rounded. But I wanted to tell you that story because a lot of you are going through injuries. You're going through, you know, accidents. Stuff happens. That's what happens in life. You know, I fell from that 14 feet thing thinking I was invincible. And then I fell, broke my wrist, and now my left hand is permanently weaker. But the cool thing is, you never really know what your genetic potential is. And I will say that my left hand being weaker than my right now has made me work twice as hard, if not 3 times as hard, to gain my strength back and get back to where I was. Now, will I ever really be where I was? I don't know, maybe, but that's not the point. It's doing the best you can with the situation that you are given. So whether you're going through an accident, an injury, or whatever the case may be, just do the best you can with the pieces that you have and put the puzzle together, because everyone's going through their own unique version of hell. And understand, as long as you're doing the best you can, there's really nothing that can stop you. And with every injury, there comes the mentality part behind it as well. Feeling depressed and down, like, oh, I'll never be as strong as I once was. But you got to understand, you're doing the best. If you do the best you can with what you have right now, your brain and your mindset will slowly start to change with an understanding that we know you're trying hard enough. We know you're doing everything you can to get where you want to be. We trust you. So keep going through whatever journey you're on. Keep trying hard. And when life brings you down or throws some rocks in your direction, just understand that's an opportunity to become tougher. So keep training hard.